Hello, YouTube. Mercury. The ancients named this planet after the messenger of the gods, the patron saint of trade and the rich. The reason is that Mercury runs very fast across the sky. Now we see a second meaning in this. You will have to believe in astrology whether you want to or not. Mercury is so close to the sun that it is difficult to even see it, hiding in its rays. It never is in the middle of the sky on a dark night. Everything is at dawn or at sunset. But what is amazing, at least according to the Russians, is this. 2, and only 2 missions to Mercury, Mariner 10 in 1973 and Messenger in 2011-2015, tried to keep a kind of shadow, right, over it. That's what they think. Boring planet, liquid, lead puddles, it's so hot. Craters and mountains, nothing interesting. So we're leaving. But there are no boring planets. And silence is always alarming. Were they hiding something? Maybe. After all, Chinese scientists have proved, even by experiments, something rather fascinating. And others could have guessed earlier, and they did. But let me start with the Chinese. Someone really wants to turn the solar system into an aquarium and work in it without making too much noise. That's the Russian conspiracy theory about Mercury. Now let's look at the Chinese discovery. The planet Mercury consists of diamonds. So does the new gold rush begins? According to Nature Communications, diamond deposits have been discovered inside Mercury. Yes, the planet closest to the Sun, Mercury, is packed with diamonds. There's a layer 17 kilometers thick in the depth, and it consists entirely of this precious stone. These are trillions of dollars. But however, such figures do not exist, according to the Russians. The Earth economy has never encountered such wealth. The discovery was made by Chinese scientists, and again, their article was published in the journal Nature Communications. Mercury is very close to the Sun. From here, the Sun looks like a shaggy, weighty ball, a sphere on across half the sky. And Mercury's surface is very dark, burned out. The real reason was established only in 2015 when the data from the Messenger probe arrived. Mercury is covered with graphite, the one you find in the pencils. Artists can be sent there, and they will always have something to draw with. However, the paper will burn. Scientists did not really understand where graphite came from. I felt there was a reason for this, and there is some mystery here. Apparently, something extraordinary happened in the balls of Mercury, said the study co-author Yan Hao Lin from the Center for Advanced High Pressure and Technology Research in Beijing. Apparently, graphite carbon escaped to the surface from the depths along with magma. In 2019, sulfur was also found on Mercury. This has completely confused everything. It is difficult to imagine a volcanic mechanism that will create a pencil planet, and all this will be dusted with sulfur. Chinese scientists have undertaken to unravel this puzzle. Usually, astronomers either look through telescopes or build theoretical models. Chinese scientists decided to take on the original step. They got a hold of a press anvil, which creates a pressure of whopping 7 gigapascals, much more than the bottom of the Mariana Trench, which I like to describe in my videos and urge others to keep eyes on. And they began to put into it the substances that make up Mercury. The goal is to simulate what the planet has inside. Of course, all this was accompanied by serious mathematical calculations, and the results were compared with observations. The truth was revealed under the pressure. It turned out that the carbon mixed with sulfur begins to spontaneously melt at a temperature of 2,200 degrees and pressure of 5 gigapascals. An iron core is formed, the mantle is above, and the diamonds crystallize between the core and the mantle. The thickness of this diamond layer is no less than 17 kilometers. Well, who is to check? Maybe dozens of kilometers. Is it possible to believe all these manipulations with anvils? Quite. The study causally explained the old mystery of Mercury. Such a small planet, however, has a fairly strong magnetic field. Now it is clear, diamond conducts heat well. Because of this, the core is red hot and, as it were, foamed. The movements in it create a magnetic field. So, where is the stock market panic today? Where are the ruined diamond kings? Well, one day when the supplies of diamond from Mercury are set up, Earthling children will play with diamonds, but we're still far from that. Firstly, all this wealth is located at a depth of 500 kilometers. We drill a little deeper than 10 kilometers on our planet. Mercury is not an easy planet to fly to. Good speed is needed, and the near presence of the sun knocks down the space-faring apparatus with its gravity and makes any navigation error fatal. The Messenger probe was the only one that managed to stay in Mercury's orbit. But the Chinese, they make an interesting comment. They say, now we better understand the structure of other planets. Considering that China knows the most about the moon today, and the moon and Mercury are quite alike, are there any diamonds on the moon? The Russians are curious. And did the moon inspire the Chinese to explore Mercury? Very interesting. But let's see what the Americans discovered in 2022. Billions of years of meteorite impacts may have flash-baked much of Mercury's surface into the glittery gemstones. Planetary scientist Kevin Cannon reported March 10 of 2022 at the Lunar and Planetary Science Conference in Texas, in the town of Woodlands. His computer simulations predict that such impacts may have transformed about 1/3 of the little planet's crust into a diamond stockpile, many times that of the Earth's. Diamonds are forged under immense pressures and temperatures. On Earth, the gemstones crystallize deep underground, at least 150 kilometers down, and then right to the surface, so to say, during volcanic eruptions. But studies of meteorites suggest diamonds can also form during impact. I have a very interesting video about a formerly classified Russian territory in the north with huge deposits of impact diamonds. You can find it. When those impacts happen, they create very high pressures and temperatures that can transform carbon into diamond, stated Cannon, who is from the Colorado School of Mines. With impact-borne diamonds on his mind, Cannon turned to the closest planet to the sun. Surveys of the planet's surface and experiments with molten rock suggest that the planet's crust may retain fragments of an old shell of graphite, a mineral made from carbon. What we think happened is that when Mercury first formed, it had a magma ocean, and that graphite crystallized out of that magma, Cannon said. And then the bombardment. Mercury's surface today is heavily cratered, evidence of an impact-rich history. Much of the purported graphite crust would have been battered and transformed into diamond. That's the hypothesis that Cannon has. Curious how pervasive this diamond forging could have been. So Cannon used computers to simulate 4.5 billion years of impacts on a graphite crust. The findings show that if Mercury had possessed skin of graphite 300 meters thick, the battering would have generated 16 quadrillion tons of diamonds, about 16 times Earth's estimated reserves. There's no doubt, there is no reason to doubt that diamonds could be produced in this way, according to Simone Marchi, a planetary scientist at the Southwest Research Institute in Colorado, who was not involved with the research. But how many might have survived? That's another story. Some of the gemstones would probably have been destroyed by later impacts. Cannon agrees that subsequent impacts would probably obliterate some diamonds, but the losses would have been very limited, according to him, as the ultimate melting point of diamond exceeds 4,000 degrees Celsius. Future simulations will incorporate remelting from impacts, he says, to refine the potential size of Mercury's present-day diamond reserves. Well, an opportunity to scout for diamonds on Mercury may come in 2025 when B-Pi Columba mission reaches the planet. Diamonds reflect a distinct signature of infrared light, according to Cannon, and potentially this could be detected. So I would say stay tuned for very interesting discoveries that are yet to happen with that strange little planet. And I'll bring you more information about it and about other celestial bodies in our solar system and those who visit it from time to time. Thank you for your attention to my work. If you can support my research, please do so through the links you will find in the description to this video. Thank you to those who do. And please like my videos. Please subscribe to my channel.